So here we are on the shortcut of opportunity cost. And this is a classic economic definition. So learning this one is what all people studying economics learns. It's the concept of opportunity cost. So definition of opportunity cost is the one best, most valuable thing given up or sacrificed when a choice is made. Okay? Obviously, if you make a choice, there are many things you can't do because you made that choice. The one best thing you give up is the opportunity cost. This is different than all the trade-offs, okay? These might be all the things you give up, okay? And that you would use that for a cost-benefit chart, positives and negatives, okay? Listing all the things, but this is a shortcut. It's the one best thing. For example, and this will tell you immediately if you shouldn't do something. It won't tell you if you should, okay? Because sometimes all the negatives add up. So you have to look at more than the first one best thing you give up, but it will tell you if you shouldn't. If that one best thing you're giving up is better than what you're getting, it automatically says don't do it. So here's an example, and I did it in reverse by accident. Oh man. So I did this in reverse. So anyone who's not watching this video and just copying the notes, not doing what they're supposed to be by watching the video is going to get it wrong, okay? So my choice is to play 3 hours of video games. I had this literally one Saturday. I could choose to play 3 hours of video games, and the one best thing I would give up, meaning I couldn't do it that Saturday if I played those 3 hours of video games, would be boating with the waifu, okay? So my opportunity cost, the thing I would give up, is boating with the waifu. Boating with waifu is so much more fun than 3 hours of video games. So I immediately did not make that decision to play 3 hours of video games. Okay, so you see, I could play the video games, and what I would lose is so valuable that I don't want to make that decision. The opportunity cost of boating with waifu was too high. That's how you say it. The opportunity cost was too high, so I did not make the decision. Now, many people make this decision every single year because many 12th graders go to college. That's their choice, okay? I don't know the percentage-wise, but in a typical class that I teach, it's probably about 70% or somewhere around there, give or take. The choice is going to college. What is the best thing that you would give up if you went to college? Usually it would be a year of travel or a job, okay? Now, typically, the job a high schooler could get is usually not good enough to say, oh no, I shouldn't go to college if you had wanted to go to college. And usually the benefit of traveling doesn't outweigh going to college. So the one big thing that you give up doesn't make it a bad decision to go to college. Let's change this a little though. What if you had a contract as a pro sports? You could literally go and start pro sporting and make $2 million. So that's what you're going to give up. So your choice of going to, let's say, SUNY Albany, New York, if you make that choice, you give up a $2 million contract. The opportunity cost is too high, and most people would not go to the college and they would take the $2 million contract. Now, this could be like, when would this really legitimately happen? If your family has a business and you could work for your family for like $80,000. So if you're going to come to me and say, I have a choice going to college for 1 year or taking a year and work for $80,000 for my family, I'm going to say, if you go to college, you're giving up $80,000 for that year. That opportunity cost might be a little bit too high. So you see, if the opportunity cost is too high, you say, I'm not going to make that choice. Very, very straightforward. They always use this in all the books. You have $100. You want to buy a new pair of sneakers. What's your opportunity cost? What is the one other best thing you could buy with that $100? And then compare them. If you could buy something else that's better than $100 sneakers, you immediately not buy the sneakers and you buy something better, your opportunity cost. This is a really good way of looking at putting money away for retirement, okay? So unless you're maxing out your retirement account every year, all your choices of eating out, your opportunity cost is less money into your retirement account. And that is so valuable, putting money into your retirement account. It makes those choices of ordering pizza or going out for a $60 dinner. It makes it really, really tough to do when you're a younger person at the start of your career. That's why a lot of people don't like to make decisions. They don't like to look into and use these techniques, because when you get right down to it, most of us shouldn't be making the decisions we make. Ooh, I should put that at the end of this lesson. I will. So now we find ourselves looking at the technique of worst case scenario. This is a very quick one. It's a very interesting one. When faced with a decision, you can immediately think, what is the realistic worst case scenario that might happen on a non-zero percentage chance? And if that worst case scenario is really bad, you might not want to make the decision. It's kind of like opportunity cost, only with death. Okay, you're thinking of the worst thing that could happen, not what you're giving up, but what could. You're just looking at one. And this is very individual, and it's all based on your own risk tolerance, okay? Like, for example, many of you listening to my voice will think skydiving, what a great thing to do. For me, I'm like, I get caught up on, well, what's the worst thing that could happen with skydiving? Death? Am I going to get enough joy? Simple, positive, and net? Nope. So, boom, I don't do it. Obviously, this is overlapping with a lot of other cost-benefit analysis. Everything is overlapping with a cost-benefit analysis, okay? Remember, everything is just basically a shortcut to this positive-negative chart. But so sometimes you just want to be, what's the worst that can happen? Not worth it. The end. Here's an interesting example of that. Sometimes, and I know this, I've felt this, I feel the urge when I'm a passenger in a car and I'm sitting in the passenger side and I'm on a long trip and it's beautiful out, the windows are rolled down, and I just want to put the seat back just a little and lean back and just put that foot and leg right up on the dashboard, right up, it fits so perfectly right above the glove box, and I just want to chill like that. Is that a good decision to make? I tend to use worst case scenario. For most of the time, it's going to be totally fine. But what if? Worst case scenario should also be called what if. What's the worst that can happen with the foot up on the dashboard? And I know in the past, some students have been like, oh, you're going to get the car dirty. Are you kidding me? That isn't. No, my friend. That is not the worst case. The worst case is that there's a small, slight accident and the airbag deploys. The passenger side airbag. Now remember, your foot is on the dashboard, right where the airbag deploys. I don't know if you know this. Do you know the force it takes, the literal explosion of air it takes to deploy an airbag fast enough to save your life? It takes a lot. If your foot and ankle are right where that airbag deploys, resting right up against the front, the initial explosion is enough force to shatter all the small bones in your foot. And that's not the worst of it. Remember what happens next. That foot, that shattered foot, because of the small explosion, is then going to be propelled by the airbag back towards you. Now, I don't know if your hamstrings are anything like mine, but that would immediately tear, I'm not flexible. It would immediately tear all the hamstrings in my leg. They would have to be reattached surgically. Now, let us not forget also, as your foot is being propelled, ripping your hamstrings off towards your face, if it's a serious accident, is also being propelled to your foot, and they meet. The shattered bones of your foot meet with the unshattered until now bones of your face with enough force to, literally just break apart everything here. And I don't know what you have up here, but this is worth protecting, because there's not enough plastic surgeons in the world to be able to recreate this after the force of a foot airbag is propelled in a 30-mile-per-hour head-on collision into my face. You might not be able to walk correctly again for the rest of your life, and your face might never, ever be the same if you're one of those people that chill with their foot on the dashboard and a worst case scenario accident happens. So for that, even though I really want to, I just don't put my foot up there. Now, you may not care, because it's very, very individual. It's all based on the economic term in finance we call risk tolerance. You like to take a lot of risks? Go ahead. You don't? Then don't make that choice. Moving right along to number 6, entitled, entitled, Do the Right Thing. This, not ironically, this I don't know the right word. Let's just say this is actually backed up by scientific literature, okay? A couple studies back this up as a very powerful technique to use. And in fact, when you are in a stressful situation, this technique will guide you to the decision you want that's best for you when you're in a stressful situation. And in fact, some studies and experts say, don't think. For some things, just don't think. Make the decision before. And the people who get it right rely on this do the right thing. So how you use it is come up in your life with a list of some things that are so right that you just will always choose no matter what. And as soon as you start thinking that maybe you should choose differently, you just go back to what you, quote, know is the right thing to do. Some things are so right that there is no real reason to think about it. There's just not a situation that could make it right. So examples of this, just don't drink and drive. Just don't create a positive and negative chart of whether you should drink and drive. Just don't drink and drive. And when someone asks, well, why are you choosing not to drink and drive? Just because that's the right thing to do. Don't drink and drive. Someone gives you a pill and you don't know what it is. Don't take it. Like, obviously, this could be a worst case scenario. It could be opportunity cost. What is the thing you're giving up? Your life, that sort of thing. But it's just like, look, there's never a time when you're like, oh, there's a pill. I don't know what it is. Something good's going to happen. No. Like, don't do it because it's not the right thing. Hundreds of people, thousands of people have done this before. They've learned for you, okay? They've taken those pills and some of them have died. Simple as that. It's like, we've done this experiment before. You're not the first person in the world to be doing these decisions. And we've come to a conclusion as reasonably thinking people. Like, don't take the unknown pills. To some degree, it's save each year for retirement. Now, I get it. Sometimes you have to make but for the almost a different decision, but almost all the time, it's just the right thing to do. So save each year for retirement. You know, obviously, save each year for retirement. I'm just kind of like, you can come up. That's not 100% a do the right thing shortcut. I'm just saying it because I'm a big retirement saver, okay? And that's probably for the best for you. But simple. Don't take unknown pills. Don't drink and drive. I mean, you could put wear your seatbelt in there. That's a story. That's a story. There was one time in my life I didn't do the right thing. I actually drove without a seatbelt. It is a fantastic story involving one of our most special cats. They're all special, but this is the one we love most, Bella. It's so remind me sometime in the future. It's the best Bella origin story. Bella origin story, and it comes in with me not doing the right thing. So if you think about it, get me telling that story someday. I'm not feeling it right now. And finally today, we got the last shortcut technique, DIFYG. Does it fit your goals? This might be my own concept. I've searched the internet for the phrase, does it fit your goals? I've searched the internet for DIFYG and nothing comes up. And if it doesn't show up on a Google search, I don't think anyone's ever published or come up with it. This might be my very own concept. Now I get it. I came up with it because it sort of rhymes with if it fits your macros, which is a dieting thing for weightlifters, but I've never, does it fit your goals? A decision-making technique. Here's how you use it. First, have 1 to 3 major desired goals. I mean, figure out what you seriously want, okay? Big goals. And then it can only be like 1 or 3. Well, maybe it can be more. I don't know. I haven't thought this through too much. I just know it works with 1 to 3 major goals. It might work with more. Once you have those goals, make decisions that move you closer to the goal, not away, okay? If your decision is to play D1 sports, and that's your goal. If your goal is to play D1 sports, every decision you make either moves you towards that goal, has no effect on that goal, or moves you away from that goal. Make the decisions that move you towards the goal or don't impact your goal. Never make a decision that moves you away from your goal. This is very goal-oriented, okay? If your goal is to save $6,000 a year for retirement, make the decisions that give you more money for saving that goal. Make the decisions or use other techniques if the goal doesn't impact that, and don't make decisions that take you farther from the 6K. You notice that the goal-driven people in the world are laser focused. Read their biographies. They are laser focused on achieving their goals, and they 100% intensity all the time. And I would change that 100% intensity to making the decisions that move them towards their goals all the time. And those were the examples. Like, look, if you want to play D1 sports, you should be thinking you have a choice. Do I go out and binge party this weekend? The answer is no, because it's going to keep your recovery away. It's not going to move you closer to becoming a better athlete. And, honestly, it could make all the difference. If you are literally on the verge of being D1 and not D1, and you don't make it, if you are right on the level and you don't make it, well, it's because you could have done a little bit more. It's those choices where you decide to kill your gains by not getting enough sleep or being crazy pants. You didn't make those choices to further you to the goal. And that's a sad thing if you're right on the edge and you fail. So if you have a major desired goal and you don't know if you're going to reach it, start thinking, does it fit your goals? Give yourself the best chance to reach your goals. This is really tough when a decision conflicts with two of those goals. If your goal, for example, that decision not to save for retirement, I had two major goals: save for retirement and trick someone into marrying me. And so that decision to buy a ring from earlier in the lesson, it's away from retirement, but it's towards the goal of being married. So, DIFYG sometimes are tough decisions when they come into conflict. Folks, that's the best I can do for simple, direct techniques to help you make better decisions in your life. And let's hope going forward I can start making better decisions. And with that being said, I think I'm going to go stay up late and just get another level on Dark Souls. All right. Oh, forgot to mention. I said I'd put this in. I'm sorry. When all is said and done, when we use all our techniques to really thoughtfully think about our decisions, it turns out many of us, we really shouldn't be making many of the choices we make. I guess as an inspiration, that means we can be so much better and achieve so much more if we start making better decisions. Or on the other side of inspiration, I don't know what that's called, despiration or depressingness, is that most of the times we do make decisions that should be better. #Dark Souls. See ya. Thanks for watching.